The What It Takes Radio Company, we are here to connect you with your audience. And now we bring you to episode 7 of How to Be a World Class Podcaster. The world needs to hear your story. Now, the final step is to learn how to take your program and put it on a platform so that it can be a worldwide program. Greetings and welcome back to lesson 7. We're almost done. And I hope that you are perhaps thinking about now, what is the new thing in your life? Maybe there's a whole new life ahead of you. Think of that. Yeah, there is a possibility that just simply getting involved in this simple thing called podcasting, because it is, as you now know, simple to get started, how you can perhaps have a different life, maybe different relationships. There may be all kinds of fascinating things that you will learn. It could be truly life-changing for you. There's no guarantee of that, of course. And life might not go well for you. You might just decide it's not something you want to do, but at least you tried. At least you tried to make a point of it. And so I'm glad that you're doing this, because even if it's not something that you want to become or do, it is something that will help you in every aspect of building your life and your career and making a difference in the world. If I may just get a little bit personal, I think this might be helpful for you to understand all that's coming into me and perhaps what I want to share with you. I was a school teacher after graduating from college and university. I kind of did that because I liked history and I liked to talk. By that time, I had learned a little bit about how to be a speaker and teacher. And so I enjoyed it, and I had a good experience, and I worked very hard at that for about 12 years, and I was very, very good at it. The reason I was good at it is because I took it very seriously. I knew that when people put their children, and they were their children, in front of me, they expected me to give them all, that these were their precious children, and I should be taking that responsibility very seriously, and I did. That's just who I am. It wasn't just a job, it was more than that to me. But when I decided that perhaps, it was time to do something a little bit different, and I went back to my first love, which is radio, and I made the decision to, and it was a tough one because I had a wife and 2 children, but I decided I would teach during the day and work very hard. Then I would go quickly from there to the night school, and 3 or 4 hours every night for 4 nights a week, I would learn how to be a broadcaster. Well, finally, after all of that work, and boy, it was hard work, I was able to find myself in a position where I was on an international, big, world-class radio station, broadcasting all around the world. And I remember sometimes I would even leave the studio late at night after my particular shift was done, and I would get on my motorcycle and go out, and we were from a small Caribbean island there, and I would go out to the transmitter. And here it was, this transmitter site, and there were about seven, 8, 9 huge 600 and 700-foot towers going straight into the air, and the red lights blinking, and the transmitter was glowing in terms of the big tubes that were going back and forth in light, and the diesel engines were roaring because this transmitter took so much power that we had to create our own power from diesel engines, our own generators. It was quite something. And I was awestruck by this. I thought, when I was a teacher, I had maybe 25 or 30 young people in each class, and now I can reach hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of people almost instantaneously around the world and in many different programs. And so that I always took as kind of a sign of wonder that I had that opportunity. But you know what? Right now, the very thing that I was able to do then some many years ago is something that I can still do with, as you see, a microphone, a computer, a piece of software, and a headphone set. The internet now makes that possible Anybody who has a smartphone, anybody who has a computer, anybody who has an iPad, they, and there are billions of those people, can listen to my radio program. And I hope they do. Not all of them, of course, will do that, but it would be nice if a few would from time to time. As you may see, I brought my microphone back. Now, of course, now you know the secret. This is not really the microphone that I'm using, but it's an old-fashioned microphone, and it's part of my space. Because now I want to talk to you about your place and your space. What I have is a little studio, and here we have the microphones, and this is kind of a prop. I want to make this feel, uniquely a place where it's kind of a special place. I've got the clocks, and I even have some, like old-fashioned days, or a red light that will go on, or the red light would go on, and the director would point at me and say, "You're on." I have, my pictures of when I did some of the late night programs, and my certificate from the BBC, and some of the souvenirs from my teaching and worldwide radio work. This is my place, and it's kind of a special place. And I invite people in, and we do programs together now in my little studio. And that's important for you to have a place. This is kind of your platform. And you and your friends can come together, and you and your friends can each have their own little platforms, and you share this and do it together. Because, right now, you're a performing artist. You're not just somebody doing a podcast. You're a performing artist, and you have your places and your spaces and your costumes and your props. You make it a special presentation because literally you have the place. And oftentimes I try and imagine that I'm actually sitting right next to people in their car, or I'm right next to them as they're listening on their phone or their computer or their iPad or whatever else it might be. And it's just me having a conversation with them, maybe hundreds, maybe thousands of them. And it's just like that, a conversation, just like this whole thing. This hasn't been a formal program. I haven't got a lot of scripts here. We're just having a conversation. And that's what makes even a good program. So I want you to think of it that way. This is your place and your space to do that. Now, as I said before, practice and do your program with friends. Just share it with friends, maybe a bit on your social media, but now it's time. Now it's time to go on the air. And that means OTA, on the air, but it's even more than that now. It's OTT. It's over the top because it's going in through the cloud, and from the cloud it goes on the air all around the world. And that's true, all around the world. And I have listeners and students from all around the world, not just from the small little city where I live and operate in. That could be your experience too. Now let me tell you a little bit how you do that. And again, I'm not a technical type. In effect, I have people who help me, and I can use the tutorials that are out there too. But this is what you then do. Say, okay, I'm ready. You've done your program. You've perhaps edited it, and you've learned how to do that. And now you have your MP3 file of your radio program sitting there on your hard drive, on your computer, or maybe even on your tablet or phone. And now you link into your, like I say, your platform. Now, I don't get a dime for this, but I use Libsyn. They're one of the earliest, and they're one of the premier ones, but there are hundreds. There are many, many platforms. And for a small fee, and it really is a small fee, and sometimes they'll even do it for free for a while, here's what you do, is you log in, and then you press the button, and it says upload, and you move your file into the upload, and it goes. And then bingo, loaded. Then I fill in the detail. It says name of the title, description, And I go in and I make a few of the adjustments as to what I want. Particularly, it'll ask me for the description. It'll ask me for the program size. And that's something that's helpful. You can learn more about whether you should have a big size file or a small one. I generally say medium size is fine. And I could say it's 22050 64 kbps. And you say, what's that? Don't worry about it. It just means that it's a medium-sized file, and that means I have more, broad space area to put it on the platform, because they're going to charge me on the size of the files I do. But you can all work that out with yourself, by yourself, and with your friends, and with the technical types, of which I'm not. And then you put in all of the information about it, about your program, who you are, and then when you're all done, you go down and there's a button that says publish, and you push the button. Bingo. There it goes. It's OTT. It's over the top, and it's now on the air. But you say, well, where did it go? Well, that's what we're going to do very briefly here. Once you have it on your platform, your hosting platform, now you are going to send it to all of the performing platforms. Maybe you've heard of, like Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, Stitcher. That's right. There are hundreds of platforms, hosting platforms, that will go and they will perform your program. So you can go to Apple Podcasts that has 500 million subscribers, and there I am. Pandora, Spotify, Google, Amazon, all of them will accept, and usually without even a fee. If your program meets their requirements, they'll host it for you. And there you are. It's remarkable. The more I do it, I think about it, how wonderful it is that I have the ability to do that. And now, anybody who has a smartphone, has a computer, has any access to the internet, digital world, they can listen to my program without any cost to me. It's free, and it's free for them for the most part. And there we go. Who knows what's going to happen? I have more surprises in my life, because I cannot believe people contact me that I would have never met. They hear my program. My life changes a great deal, because all of a sudden I'm an influencer. I'm an instructor, a teacher, a friend, a confidant. People are coming into my life because they hear my little programs. And the same thing can happen to you, because now you truly are taking the time, and you give the time to do your old-fashioned microphone or your brand new microphone. You share what's on your heart, your mind, your spirit, your soul. You teach people things that are helpful and useful to them, just like you see on YouTube, and oftentimes those of you who already listen to podcasts. Now you're one of them. You're one of the few in the world who's been smart enough to say, I have something that I think is worthwhile, and I want to share it with others. And you go to do the work, and instead of just saying, I wish, you are actually now there, where people can write in your name on their search engine, write in the name of your program, and they push the button, and there you are. Your name, maybe your face, your logo, your program, and your programs. You're ready to go. That can happen for you. And the purpose of all of this work is to get you able to do that, to get started, and then to learn and go and grow from there. But now you know the basics that you need to have to actually become, then to do a program, how to, in effect, produce the program, share it with others, and then platform it and share it with the whole wide world on the World Wide Web.
good for you. But also, please keep in mind, that means you've got a great responsibility. You know, I used to oftentimes say, even as a teacher, hey, these are people's children, and I may see them that 1 hour a day even more than their parents sometime in this busy world. And they trust me, to put their children in front of me for 6 or 7 hours each week in class. I've got a great responsibility. I better be good at what I do. I better do it right. Then I oftentimes have said, just in a way to remind myself, if I've got 1,000 people, which might be listening to my 20-minute program, with a little bit of a smile, I say, you know what? All of them are now 20 minutes closer to being dead. Was it worthwhile? Was it something that is helpful and useful for them? Something that made them smile, something that was good for them, something that they can use in their life? To be a podcaster means that you've got some real responsibility to be somebody who's doing good in the world. I want you to say, when I become a podcaster, the world's going to be a little better place because I'm doing this, because I'm on the air, I'm over the top, and I'm sharing what I have with others. And that's very important to me as your teacher, that everything that we now do together in this particular business makes it a better world and a better place to live. And the people are better off because they were fortunate enough, and we were fortunate enough to come together. Even though we don't know each other, even though we've never met or seen each other in person, we actually can build a relationship. And it is quality relationships. People who love and care and listen to one another. That's what truly makes the difference and will really save the world. And that's the business you're in. Well, I've got a few more closing comments, and I hope that you'll join me. Kind of the epilogue. Number 8 is an epilogue. We're just going to finish up with a little encouraging word, and we'll answer that question. Well, Stan, what do I talk about? We'll talk about that, and then I will wish you well and send you on your way. But on the other hand, I'll always be right here for you to come back, talk to, get coaching, get help with, because that's what I do. And I think I do it pretty well. Thank you for your time. Remember now, we're almost done. In fact, we're kind of done, but a few closing words, which is always what you want to do with a radio program. Thank you so much for your time. This has been delightful for me too. Till our closing message, bye for now.
Please reach out to me, Stan Houston, at stan@witradio.net. Witradio.net is our website, and 520-664-7002 USA.
Greetings once again to episode number 6 on how you can become a world-class broadcaster. And I'm glad you did come back, because you didn't have to, did you? You could have just quit. As you now know, this little device here allows people all around the world, whenever they have a program or a radio program or a video program, a television program, if they don't want it, they don't like it, they just press the button and you're gone. And I have to remember that when I'm doing a podcast, that, if I don't have energy and enthusiasm and all of those qualities that make it worthwhile, they'll just quit. They won't be embarrassed. They won't say, oh my goodness, Stan's feelings will be hurt when he sees me click off the program. No, they just leave. And that reminds me of what I have to be and what I have to do if I'm going to be successful in this thing called radio, television, modern media. They can always not come back. They can leave. Now, the last program we did, the last episode, was about 25 minutes. And so it was a bit longer than most, but I don't apologize for that. And this program will probably be a little bit over 2 hours. But please keep in mind, if you want to be good at this, you're going to have to take some time to study it and learn it, and then practice it, and practice it a lot. When I decided, back in my late 30s early 30s, I'd been teaching for about 12 years, that I was going to be a broadcaster. I was already a full-time teacher, and I decided to do that. Well, here's what I had to do. I would teach all day and then quickly run home, get a bite to eat, and then from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, Monday through Thursday, I was at the station doing radio, learning how to be a radio broadcaster. And I did that Monday through Thursday, 4 hours every night for 18 months before they would even say, okay, Stan, now we'll give you that diploma up there. And that means that we will say to any radio station owner around the world even, that you're pretty good at what you do. You've had experience, you know what you're doing, and you're someone they should hire. And that was what they wanted me to do. Now, one of the reasons we do all of this, learn about yourself, learn about your audience, is because that makes us different. Very much. You see, most of these programs are just, oh, here you go. Get a microphone, get a computer, and start learning how to do a podcast. No, that's not good enough. You have to learn how to be a podcaster, be a broadcaster, before you ever do any of that technical stuff. They're all about the techniques. Now, what we learn is that there are two kinds of people in radio and television. And that is, first of all, what is called the talent. I would be the talent. Then there are the technical people. Those are those wonderful, talented people, oftentimes not heard, behind the scenes, who make it all happen. They're the ones who, keep that transmitter going, keep those tubes glowing, make sure that all of the equipment that I use is first rate. And you know what? No matter how good I might be, if they didn't do their job, nobody would hear me. And in fact, oftentimes the talent wasn't that talented, but the technical people were world class. And so I tried to make sure that their effort was well rewarded in all of the technical stuff, that in effect, when I was the talent for the program, that it was worthy of all the things they did. And that's what I want you to know. And there are all kinds of things now that I will delegate. I'm not going to teach you about how to record. I'm not going to teach you a lot of things about the different technical stuff. There are other people who know that better than me, who can do that for you, and you can learn not everything they teach you or tell you, but what you need to know, and you can learn it from them. Oftentimes, there are scads of YouTube videos and other programs similar to mine, but they're not like mine, but they can help you with some of that other stuff. That's just fine. That would make me happy and glad if you could find other people who will help you be successful in this business. But what I'd like to do in this brief time together is to give you an idea of how to get started. How do you get started doing a podcast, and what equipment do you need? So, well, the first thing you need, of course, is a computer. And it doesn't have to be a very sophisticated computer. In fact, the one that I use is a Mac that's about 7, 8 years old, and it's perfectly good. By the way, I also have a Dell computer that goes back 15 years old. It's perfectly good too. Now, of course, the better the computer, the better things might be for you to, operate it or be able to put some other effects into it. But all you need is a simple computer. Then you're ready. You're ready to go. No, you need a microphone. Now, you could have a microphone that's this simple. Now, a little bit of counsel here. Oftentimes people say, oh, you need to get a really good microphone. This is $200, $300, $400. Buy the best microphone you can. No. This is $29. It works just fine. Now, you notice that the microphone I had right here is gone. And I'm doing that because I wasn't really using that microphone. That was a RCA Victor broadcast microphone that's about 60 years old. Goes back to the 1950s, 1960s. And when you first bought it, it was $1,000 or more. I got it for free. Some company was throwing all their old stuff out. And I said, what do you do with this microphone? Oh, it's just junk now. Take it. And it's a beautiful prop. By the way, they were silly. It still works very well, but it's not quite up to the quality that I would want today. But it makes a nice prop, and I enjoy it, and it kind of gives an old-fashioned radio effect to it. It's a nice piece of equipment for show, for the program, because that's what we are. I'm a performer, and I have to have my props and my background and my costume on to do it well. But I have helped people get on the air. Just recently, he bought a microphone for $39. You know what? It's working just fine. Here's one. That was a Shure microphone, but there are hundreds. There are thousands. You look in Amazon, any of these sound and recording places, they have hundreds. This is one that many people use, and I like it a lot. It's a Blue Yeti microphone, and this one is a little more expensive. It'll go between $69 to $119, and if you get them used, they're a little bit cheaper. But this is even more than you need. It's really good. So those people who tell you to buy a great microphone, don't do that. You're just a beginner. I remember when I was trying to learn how to play golf, a friend of mine was going to teach me. And he said, okay, Stan, if you really want to play, see if you can borrow some golf clubs from a friend. He said, don't even buy them yet. Because you know what? You're not that good. And just borrow them and I'll give you some lessons. We'll start playing. If you still like it, then maybe you should start buying, first of all, buy a driver of your own and get a cheap one, get a cheap set, and then you go from there. He said, Stan, it won't make any difference. You're not that good enough of a player for the equipment to make any difference for you right now. Now, if you get better, you might want to get a better set, a newer set, and maybe when you're really good, you'll even get a custom set. But right now, just borrow it. Maybe someday you'll want to have that $599 microphone. I wouldn't, but you might want that. Well, do something like what I've just suggested. Even this you could probably get used for $59. Don't believe all the stuff that you need a quality, high quality microphone. Certainly not yet. Also then, it might be helpful to get yourself, here we go, a pair of headphones. Yeah, that would be helpful. Now again, the same thing is true. $199 for a pair of headphones. No. You don't need to do that. These work just fine. They're $39. And you know what? I even have a pair just for emergencies, just in case, that I picked up used for $11.99, and they work just fine. But you want some headphones because that's how you begin to hear how you sound. And that's helpful. That's useful. Now, please keep in mind that when you buy your microphone, whatever that might be, get what we call a USB microphone. USB. Now, what that means, and those of you who are technical understand that, but that's the thing that you can then plug it directly into your computer. Okay, you plug it directly into your computer, and then you don't need a mixing board or all of that fancy stuff. It's right there. Hook it on. You're ready to go. And your headphone, of course, just has the little headphone jack into your computer, and there you go. Computer, microphone, headphone, one more thing. You need some recording software. That means you need to buy some software that will help you actually record your program and turn it into an audio program. Turn it into an MP3 file that you can then give to people, put on a platform, share it with people, and they can listen to it. Just like when you listen to a CD or something you download. All right, here's the deal. Most people begin with what is called Audacity. Audacity, and it's a good deal. It's free. That's right, it's free. Now, you can buy a lot more expensive, and there are many fine ones that people will recommend. Good. They have a lot of bells and whistles, which you don't need at first, but eventually you might find them useful, but they are not free. All of them are actually very, very good value for what they have, but you're a beginner, so just start with the free one, because everything you need to do, for the most part, you can do with Audacity. And then find a friend and learn how to record together, because there are hundreds of YouTube tutorials. I mean, here you go. First of all, where do you get Audacity? Search for it on the internet. There are, first of all, the major supplier, because it's actually put together kind of as a commonware where people are contributing their time and volunteering efforts to make it happen. But there are hundreds of places that you can download the software free, and it's ready to go for you to do your recording. And I'll get a friend to help you. Now, that's very vital right now. If you can get a friend to be a part of your programming efforts, that would be great. And I'll explain to you more later. But you can learn together. You can practice together. Remember, practice, practice, practice now. And so, in effect, here you have all of the four things: the software, the microphone, the headphones, and the computer. You're ready. Literally, when I was first on the major radio station, I was speaking into probably a $500 microphone, $1,000 microphone, and it was millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of equipment, thousands of gallons of gasoline into the diesel engines that would propel the electricity. You don't need that. You can reach just as many people today with what I said: a computer, a microphone, headphones, and the software. Now you're ready to be on the air. And here's what you do. First of all, I would suggest what we call the PRP3. PRP3. Now this is where I also want you to have maybe 3 friends. So there's 2 or 3 of you, and you're going to make this happen. You're going to teach each other. You're going to help each other. You're going to coach each other. You're going to learn together. It's a wonderful way to do podcasting. And you'll share each other, be on each other's programs, help people do it together. I really recommend that. It makes it a lot more fun, a lot more interesting. And so you record your program. Well, what do you do then? Well, you have 3 people who will listen to it. Just 3. You put it in the Dropbox and they can download it, or you send the link where you can get it, or actually attach it to an email, or put it perhaps on your social media and let people just on your social media listen to it. And there you go. Now, it's a PRP. It's a personal radio program. You're doing it just for these people, and they're the only ones who can listen to it or be connected to it. And start by doing 3 minutes. Do a 3-minute radio program for 3 friends. Then see if you can do it to 5. And see how that works. And practice it. And critique it. And try and do it better. You know what? When you can do a little 3 to 5 minute program that somebody else can listen to and say, yeah, okay, that was kind of interesting. That was kind of fun. You're ready. You're ready to go. PRP3. Now, later on, we're going to actually go on the air where the World Wide Web will make it possible for millions of people to listen to your program and respond to it. But right now, you have that time to practice and to share it with friends. Make it safe. You're not going to be embarrassed. And you know, after a while, now, even after all of that training that I had, first time I was before a real microphone, real live on a real radio station, was I nervous? Yeah, you bet I was. But I was also confident. I mean, I knew I had gone through it and I'd practiced, and my mentors had helped me, and my friends had listened to some of the programs I did at the broadcast school. I knew I could do it. I knew I could make it happen. Now, my confidence is going to grow and I'm going to get better, but I knew that I could stand in front of the microphone and not just babble on. I knew that I could put on a program. I could do an announcement. I could do a commercial. I could read the news. I could do that. And that's what you want to have happen for you. There we go. And once you feel confident about that, we're ready to do the big step. And that is to take that little program that you've now produced, and we're going to put it on a platform so the whole world can hear it. And you can make your mark. You're going on the air. The whole wide world web is there for you. But start this way. Simple equipment, simple programs for 3 friends. Then if you see it, maybe get to 25 friends. You know what? Once you've got 25 people listening, you are the real deal. We'll be back. We'll go to number 7, and there we're going to help you build a platform. So it's not only a personal radio program, it is a program from you to the world and to the people in it who want to learn from you, to be entertained by you, to hear about some of the wisdom, insight, and truth in the stories that you have to tell. And it will make an incredible difference in your life. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. If you're serious about it, this will be one of the most important things you will ever do in your business, in your career, and in your own personal development. So let's get ready. Let's get ready to get on the platform, get on the air, and make our mark. Ready to go for number 7? Well, that's coming up next.
Please reach out to me, Stan Houston, at stan@witradio.net. Witradio.net is our website, and 520-664-7002 USA.